Thanks for clicking on Wayne.com for this edition of Inside the Zone. He's Blake Sebring. I'm Glenn Marini. Let's get right to it. 0-2 in the series. Can the Komets come back and win this thing?
They can. They got to play a lot better than they have been. I mean, they gotta find a stretch that they haven't had since February to do it. I mean, that's what it's going to take. When they were clicking on all cylinders and things were easy, the puck did the work for them. Right now, the puck's not doing the work any for them. They're not getting the bounces. They're not winning the battles because they're not doing the work. That's all it is, as simple as that.
How crucial, then, is this upcoming game Tuesday night at home against this really fast, really talented Toledo team? I mean, this is as big a must-win as you can get, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they lose tomorrow, they're done. I mean, and I think they know that, and you kind of hope that that's what sparks them to give it all out. I haven't seen them give a whole 100% yet in this series. I've seen them play hard. I've seen them play smart at times. I haven't seen them do both at the same time. And I was shocked Friday night that they tried to skate with Toledo. How long have we talked about that? All year. And they try to skate with them, and they don't bang, and they lose every battle along the boards, and that's where that game was. It was all along the boards. And they didn't sacrifice. They didn't, you know, and the thing of it is, they are blocking shots. Toledo's blocking twice as many. They are skating hard. Toledo's skating twice as fast. They are getting to the net somewhat. Toledo's always at the net. You know, I mean, it's like Toledo's just that much better in the key areas.
Well, it's funny because I wonder how frustrated you are as a fan and also as a reporter watching the game, because when we talked about the Kalamazoo series, the one thing that we said they needed to do was be physical with Kalamazoo, and to a greater extent they were. To see that maybe shrink a little bit or go away in this series, how frustrating,
it went away.
How frustrating is that?
I mean, not to skin off my back, but the thing of it is I asked them all last week, who's faster, you guys or Toledo? And they actually all thought they were right stride for stride with Toledo. Well, you're obviously not. I mean, and it's been obvious to me all year that you have to play your game, you have to play smart, you have to be physical, and they're not doing it. I mean, they're doing it in spurts, but there's no consistency there at all, and you know that that's the game plan. And it's just like they're just not committed to it.
How surprised are you, because I think this is the general consensus of people watching the games on Friday and Saturday, that we discussed, hey, they're coming off Toledo, they're coming off a 7-game series.
Right.
It was physical. Game 7 went to overtime, Tuesday, Wednesday, back-to-back, then flip it to Friday for Game 1 against the Komets. They should come out and be dragging, especially in back-to-back games, but that hasn't been the case. In fact, they look like, in many cases, the team with more energy.
Well, what have the Komets done to punish them for those 7 games? What have the Komets done to take advantage of any tiredness there may be? You know, what have the Komets done to force that? What have the Komets done? You know, you want to know why the Komets aren't getting any power plays. They're not going to the net. They're not forcing the action. They're not attacking. They're kind of sitting back and shooting from the perimeter, where you're playing right into Toledo's game plan. I mean, the Komets are not forcing the action. They're not initiating. They're reacting. And that's not going to get it done.
How do you change all the things that we just talked about? Because Gary Graham's got a pretty quick turnaround. You got Friday, Saturday. Those games are in the books. Sunday, I would guess, was a day of rest. So you got Monday afternoon and then the skate around on Tuesday to work things out. What do you change? What do you flip?
I might mix up the lines.
Really?
I mean, you know, and I hate when that happens because then it's a panic move. But I might break up the winning line. I mean, they're not doing anything. I mean, the goals that they have scored have been deflections in front. They haven't been creative plays or anything. They're just not clicking. They're not working. Obviously, Toledo's going to put their best defenseman out against them. Maybe I would mix it up and I would get Paul Crowder back in somehow. And I would mix things up maybe so that there's a little bit more freedom possibly with the lines, and see, you know, okay, well, who are they going to cover, you know? But you can't do anything with the defense right now, and that's the big problem. The defense is too immobile. It doesn't move the puck well enough right now, or it doesn't clear the front of the net well enough either.
And I hate to cry over spilled milk, but how big of a loss is that Joey Leach wrist injury from a couple weeks ago?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge, because basically you've taken 2 good pairings with Tam and whoever, with Joey and Martin, and now you've got Tam with
Cody?
No, not with Cody. Cody's with Will. anyway. You've got
with
Daniels, you've got Tam with Daniels, and so you took 2 good pairs, and now you got 1 good pair, and you're trying to make it work, and Toledo's just feasting on it. And it's not all the defensemen's fault either. It's the forwards who are hesitating to come back, and you can't hesitate against Toledo or you're dead. Look at the shorthanded goal that was the backbreaker in Game 2. 4 guys cheated just a step in. It was 1 step in looking for a rebound at the end of the power play, and that was all it took. And because Toledo is so ingrained and they are so good in transition. They are amazing in transition. I mean, they are fast, but they're fast thinking as well. They're very well trained. They know exactly what they're doing, where they're going, who's getting it, and what they want to shoot at too.
You mentioned maybe changing some things up. I'm going to throw this one out there for you.
Yeah.
Roman Will, a lot of the goals in this series haven't necessarily been his fault.
No.
But to just change things up, put maybe Pat Nagel in goal, a guy with some championship experience. We haven't seen him so far in the postseason, so you know he's well rested. Do you see that as a possibility of getting Neg some time in the net, maybe in Game 3?
Maybe.
To change the momentum?
Yeah, I would. I mean, at this point, you've got nothing to lose. You mean you gotta go for it. I mean, and I would. I mean, and then you can bring Roman back for Game 4 if you like. I mean, Roman hasn't been the problem at all. I mean, the goals that he's given up, there's been a couple each game. The backbreaker in Game 1 was a bad one. That was a bad one. It was a tip in front that he knew he should have had. But the first 2 goals in that game, there was nothing he could have done, and the score was 4-1, so it was already over. Okay. In Game 2, the backbreaker was that shorthanded 2-on-1, and there's nothing he could do. I mean, they played it perfectly. They are exceptionally good at scoring off the rush, and they are really good, and the Komets are not. Not that they're getting any chances that way, but Toledo is just excellent at that. And I can't blame Roman for those.
And Toledo flipped goalies with giving Lurg a break, and Conway was pretty darn good in Game 2 for them. So who knows? It could all.
And they could. I mean, they are looking long term. Toledo's looking like we got bigger goals than this one, and we want to rest Lurg if he's just a little bit sore or whatever. And they could gamble with that 1-up 1-0. Komets couldn't gamble.
Well, speaking of gambling, the Komets. Odds are not good historically when you take a look at 2-15 all time in the playoffs when down 0-2 to start a best-of-7 series. But we've seen them do it in the relatively recent past. How do they do what they did against Missouri a few years ago and turn the whole entire thing around?
Well, I think you do. You mix up those things, and you play smart. They just haven't played smart. They keep trying to skate with Toledo when you have to go bang them. You have to make them pay the price to make some of those plays. Now, they're still going to make some of those plays, but at least that opens up opportunities for you as well. Toledo's defense has been, with Cisnarin coming in and Nightingale coming in, that's an exceptional pairing right there. They move the puck really well, but they're not the biggest guys. You can go after them. You can hit them. And the Komets I haven't seen the total commitment to the hitting game. I saw it in the third period Saturday night. I did not see it the rest of the series.
I'm glad that you mentioned third period because the Komets have gone into the third period in both of these 2 past games within a goal. So they're within. And
they had the power play in the middle of the third period on Saturday night. I mean, you think there's your shot.
So you say 5-2, 4-1, they're getting blown out. They're not getting blown out.
No, they're not.
They're in the game heading into the third period. So how has the third period been different from what we've seen? Is it just simply they're not connecting and Toledo is?
Yeah, kind of. Well, what happens is they're down, okay? So they're cheating a little bit towards the offensive end. Well, that feeds right into Toledo's game. You know, you've still got 10 minutes left, or you have 7 minutes left when the power play ends Saturday night. You've got 7 minutes left to get a shot, and you can pull the goalie late if you need to. Well, you give up that goal, there's no point to it. You know, I mean, you've killed yourself. You cost yourself that chance of coming back. I mean, with just a stupid play. I mean, you know, just a bad play, you know, as simple as that. You have to be at your best, and you have to be smart about it, and you have to play a little bit conservatively. But they did that in the Winter Fest game, and they were fine. You know, you got to look at it this way, Glenn, is the Komets won 3 games against Toledo. One of them was in a shootout, one was an overtime game, and one of them, I think, was the one where they were down 3-0 and they came back in the third. You know, you have not really technically won a game against Toledo this way. I think they got 1. You haven't done that yet. and yet you're playing like you guys are better than them, or you think you have a better style, or it's like, where's the disconnect there? Why is there? I mean, there's one thing being confident, and there's one thing being smart, and they need to be smarter.
Game 3, Tuesday night. Game 4, Thursday night. When you take a look at these games, these are obviously both must-wins for the Komets. What are you looking for Tuesday when they come out in Game 3? Because we always, I feel like a broken record, but we always talk about, the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes will kind of dictate what we see the rest of the night. What's the biggest key for you coming out Tuesday that the Komets
I want to see the
establish?
exact same thing I saw in Game 2. They came out and they were conservative. They were hitting. They were looking for opportunities. See, the thing is, this series is about who makes the defensive mistakes. And that's when each team looks for their offense. It's not so much we're forcing it, we're going to take what's there. The Komets are trying to force it. And that's not working because then they're making the mistakes and Toledo capitalizes. Toledo's not doing anything special. They're just waiting for the Komets to make the mistake. And boy, there they go. They're not necessarily creating all this offense. They're waiting for the Fort Wayne defensemen and forwards to make a mistake, and it's gone. That's the way the Komets have to be. They have to look to probe a little bit, maybe, rather than try to force it all in one shift. And they have to be defense first rather than offense first. Let your defense create some of your chances, just like Toledo's doing.
Final question: If you're Gary Graham, what are you telling these guys at this point? What are you?
I'm not saying a thing.
You're just letting them figure it out themselves.
No, I'm not. I'm saying Kaylee. I'm saying Pastilli. I'm saying Martin. You guys get it across. You guys have been here before. You guys know what needs to be said. You guys say it. I've said it. They are not listening for whatever reason, or they're not committed to it. Let's go. And for God's sake, shut up talking to the referees. You're not going to get those calls, folks. Everybody in the building knows how they're going to call it. They're going to call it on change of possession and scoring chances. They're not calling the ticky-tack stuff away from the puck. And that's good for the Komets, too, because there's a lot of crap going on behind the plays on both sides. They're not going to call those, so don't expect it. And don't sit there and argue with the ref while the other team's going the other way. Shut up and play.
All right, shut up.
I know. I'm so shy today. I gotta learn to.
We gotta get you out of your shell.
Quit holding these things in.
We gotta get you out of your shell. It's unhealthy, Blake.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully next week we'll be talking about a Game 7 for this series.
They can do it. They just have to start doing it.
Got to do it. Nothing to it but to do it. That is the mantra for the Komets this week as they get ready for Games 3, 4, maybe 5, and 6. We'll see.
Yeah.
But if they do, we'll be here talking about Komets next week. He's Blake. I'm Glenn, and we'll see you next Monday.